and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and on today's program, we get an update on Social Security. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's kind of cloudy out there, 43 degrees right now. Mostly cloudy today, maybe a few sunny breaks with highs in the mid-40s. Could see some flurries around this evening or some snow showers. Lows tonight into the mid-30s. Beautiful Valentine's Day coming up tomorrow. Wall-to-wall sunshine. Pretty mild for this time of year, up around 50 degrees. Not too bad here on Wednesday either. Sun and clouds. Temperatures in the mid-50s. Could be some more record-breaking warmth on Thursday. It'll come with some showers in the afternoon, but look at the highs on Thursday. Low to mid-60s. Looks like the mild trend continues through the end of the week as well. Again, cloudy, 43 in Quincy right now. Checking the news for you today, the newest Quincy City Councilor will be sworn in tonight. James Devine was elected Ward 4 Councilor during last week's special election to fill the seat that was vacated when Brian Palmucci resigned late last year after he was appointed a district court judge. Devine bested Joel Buenaventura 628 votes to 412 votes, with just over 9% of Ward 4 voters casting ballots. Devine says he's ready to get to work on that proposed 99-year lease of the Granite Links Golf Course to Quarry Hills Associates.
I still need to talk to some more people because, once again, it's the people that are telling me what to do. I need to answer to that. And a lot of people, they either don't know much about it or there's so many different people. Some people really love it, you know. Even in other wards, because this will affect everyone, because it's money that goes into the city. It's not just Ward 4. Right. I heard from some people in Ward 3 that they really like it. You know, I think we got just about $900,000 from them last year. I don't have as much time. If it comes up, if it gets extended in 2 more weeks, I'll be able to reach out to hopefully enough people and say, what do you think? What do you want to do? Okay. And make a conscious decision.
Devine, a local contractor, will serve out the remainder of the Ward 4 term this year. He says he will run for the full 2-year term in this fall's city election. A flood control project is getting underway along a portion of the Furnace Brook here in Quincy. The city says the work will focus on the area between Quarry and Cross Streets and Father McMahon Way. Flynn Construction Company of Milton will be regrading the banks of the brook and creating a more meandering waterway to increase the flood capacity during heavy rains. Woodward and Curran engineers and Granite City partners will also oversee the project. Officials say every effort will be made to save as many trees and local vegetation as possible. The project will run through this fall. Then new plantings will be added in the spring of 2024. A federal grant will pay for the design of that project. Another new tenant is preparing to open up at the new development that's underway at the North Quincy MBTA station. The South Korean-based bakery chain called Paris Baguette says it will open a new location there this April. Company says it focuses on fresh baked pastries, breads, and cakes. Also offers coffee, sandwiches, and salads. It'll be the second Massachusetts location. The other one's in the H Mart Korean grocery store in Cambridge. Paris Baguette was founded 40 years ago and has 100 locations in the United States, 3,600 worldwide. Mannett Community Health Center has announced its slate of officers for 2023, welcomed 2 new members, and also approved a 3-year strategic plan. The board of directors includes the president, Grace Murphy McAuliffe, Larry Flanagan as vice president, Ivan Wong as secretary, and Bob Griffin as treasurer. New members are Cachise Pearson from Foxborough and Roberto Carabajal from Taunton. Under the new 3-year plan, Mannett says it will be focusing on health information technology infrastructure, service excellence and patient experience, workforce and culture, behavioral health expansion, and strategic partner development and investments and expansions. Mannett was founded in 1979. It has 3 locations here in Quincy and locations in Hull, Taunton, and Attleboro. Quincy Police Department's annual No Shave November fundraiser recently raised $15,000 for cancer research. Chief Paul Keenan presented a check to Helena Rafferty, the president of Cops for Kids with Cancer. The money was raised after Quincy police officers were allowed to grow beards in November, December, and January, and then solicit donations. The Quincy Police Patrol officers, traffic supervisors, Cohane Funeral Homes, Paul's Barber Shop, and luncheons at the Kennedy Center also all helped contribute to that fund. And Quincy Police also recently raised over $12,000 for cancer research through their annual Pink Patch event. Sales of items with a pink Quincy Police patch on them generated the revenue for Marissa's Mission. That event's raised almost $54,000 over the past 5 years. That is our check of news for you today. Coming up, Elia Souza of the Social Security Administration will be joining us next. Welcome back. Every year, around the first of the year or so, we try and get an update from Social Security Administration to talk about any changes that might impact you. And this year, there's a big one, the cost of living increase, of course. So Elia Souza, Public Affairs Specialist with the Social Security Administration, is joining us today to tell us about that and a whole lot more. So Elia, very nice to virtually meet you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure, it's our pleasure. We have had a long-standing relationship with the Social Security folks, and we hope to continue that into the future. But as I mentioned, I guess the biggest change that folks who are receiving benefits realize right off the bat this year is they're getting more money, right?
Yes, they are. They got an 8.7% increase, the biggest we've seen in 20 years. Not only did they get a large increase, but our Medicare premiums have decreased for them. We're hoping this helps our recipients during this hard economic times that we're having.
Can you talk a little bit about how the benefit is determined? You know, what goes into the thought process that goes into determining why the benefit goes up or down or stays the same, and also the cost of Medicare?
The cost of living and the cost of Medicare is determined by Congress. They make the determination based on economic evaluation. They evaluate how the economy is throughout the country, and that they base the cost of the COLA, the cost of living increase is based on that. Medicare premium is also based on, same idea, how much the cost of medical is throughout the country, and they base it on that as well.
So with tax time quickly approaching, folks are probably wondering, is that increase taxable? Is that going to affect my federal income taxes?
Depending on your income bracket, it could affect your taxes. You'd really want to speak with your accountant or somebody that's more qualified. You'd never want to call the Social Security Administration regarding that question. But of course it could, depending on where your bracket that you fall into.
Sure. So what are some of the other key changes for 2023 when it comes to Social Security that folks should be aware of?
So right now we revamped our website. We made it easier for people to navigate and to understand our publications. On our website, individuals are able to review their earnings record, make sure that their earnings are posted correctly. They can review what type of benefit they would be receiving, request a replacement for their Social Security card. For our recipients, those that have already filed benefits, they can go ahead and get copies of their benefit awards letter at 1099. They can update their address, phone number, and bank information. And for those who aren't recipients yet, you can also go online and file for various programs that we have.
Okay, for folks, Elia, who may be filing for the first time, are there any special notes that they should be aware of when they're doing that?
So when they're filing for the first time, we do have on the website an easy portion that says prepare. And there it's going to give them the information that they need prior to a filing, whether they want to evaluate. The questions are really simple. Most applications for Medicare and for retirement can be done within half an hour. They're able to log on to MySSA, create an account for themselves. Once they've created that account, they can file their application, and they're able to log in and out. So they don't have to finish that same moment. If they come up with a question or they need assistance, they're able to log in. They'll get a reentry number, and they can go back at a later date.
Okay. And I'm sure probably the number one question that you get all the time, or at least one of the top 5 questions, is When should I take Social Security, Elia?
That is a very important question, and really it is based on an individual's life. It's based on their financial, and it's a very personal decision, right? Social Security retirement is a portion of hopefully what you've saved up for retirement for your golden years. We don't evaluate and we don't tell people when to choose. They can choose whenever they decide, as long as they're at age 62. Maximum is age 70. Most people talk to a financial advisor. Again, it's a very personal decision on when to take that benefit. So it's important that they educate themselves. They can go onto our website to have an idea of what their estimated benefit would be. And then they also have to take into consideration health care. Right? Medicare, you're first eligible for Medicare at age 65. Unless you're disabled. So that's a big part of their decision, is whether or not they have other means of health care.
Can we talk a little bit about Medicare for just a minute, and you know, the different parts that go with that, and the parts that you have to apply for, and the parts that you don't have to apply for?
Sure. So at age 65, you're first eligible for Medicare if you're not a disabled individual. There are many rumors and many people out there that feel like they have to take Medicare. But if you are currently working and covered under your group health plan through your employer or through your spouse's employer, you do not have to take Medicare at age 65. You would then fall into our special enrollment period, where you could show us later on in life, when you do stop working, that you've had health care coverage since age 65 until current. So those are the people that fall under the special enrollment period. And then for people who missed their initial enrollment period or missed the special enrollment period, we do have the general enrollment period that runs from January to March, and somebody can come in, file online, and file for Medicare at that point. That one, unfortunately, does have a penalty for not taking it at age 65 if you decided not to take it and you didn't have proper coverage at that point.
Okay, yeah, you bring up an interesting point. There are all kinds of rumors and stories that folks are hearing about, fearing being penalized if they don't sign up. The good news is, if you're already covered, then you can delay, right?
You can delay if you're already covered, yes. And if you have a question about that, feel free to contact us, whether you call the 800 number or even just go onto the website to see the information there. You have to kind of self-educate on whether you need to take it.
Yeah, there is an office here in Quincy. Is that open to the public, Elia?
Yes, our offices are all open to the public effectively with April of 2022, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're open. You can walk in. We do encourage that you call to schedule a face-to-face appointment if that's how you'd like to do business with us. We are taking walk-ins, but if you're looking to file for an application for benefits, and it's something more than a few questions, you may have to go into the office, sit there, wait, and then we may have to reschedule you or schedule you an appointment for a later date and time.
Okay. Are there special situations where somebody would have to come into the office as opposed to filing online?
Initial applications, majority of them can all be done online.
Okay, and that seems to be the most efficient way to do things?
It is the most efficient. Once you file, if the employee has any questions, once that claim has been assigned, we would give you a call if there's any questions or concerns. We would call. And there is a place for people to remark if they have questions or concerns or feel like they're doing it blindsided and they don't know the information that they want to at hand. If they make a remark on their application, then one of us that's assigned to it will give them a call and clarify any questions they may have.
Who cannot claim Social Security, Elia? Who would not be eligible to receive benefits?
So Social Security has a lot of different programs. For example, retirement, disability, supplemental security income, and Medicare, just to name a few. Each program has specific guidelines that must be met. So really, it all depends on lots of different factors. The easiest way to look is very helpful is our website, or an individual can call to see if they qualify, whether you call the national number or, again, go into the office. Once you log on to our website, you're able to get an estimate of benefits, whether you're looking at retirement or disability, and then it also explains all the programs. It's because we have such a variety of programs, it's hard to say who will not qualify for Social Security.
Can you talk a little bit about the disability program? It's commonly referred to as SSDI. Is that right? Disability insurance.
Yep. So we have Social Security has two programs. They're very similar. The requirements are the same. So it's Social Security Disability Insurance, and then there's the Supplemental Security Income. For both programs, the requirement is to be disabled. Social Security states that you must be unable to work for at least 1 year in order to meet the disability requirement. Then we look at whether or not the person would fall into what's called SSDI, the Social Security Disability Income, where you pay through work, through FICA taxes, through your earnings, to see whether or not you're insured through your employment. And then there is the other benefit, which is the SSI, the Supplemental Security Income, which for adults and children. And there are other requirements other than being medically disabled and work. We then look to see their income and resources. That is a needs-based program.
Okay. Are there specialized programs specifically designed for veterans or disabled veterans?
So for veterans, if you're filing for benefits for, let's say, retirement, and we're unable to get your military information electronically, we may ask for a DD-214, which is their discharge paperwork. For veterans that are disabled and filing, if they're on veterans disability benefits, we would ask to get the award letter so that we could help make that process quicker for them. It's a way to kind of push it along, having that information that they're already receiving disability as a veteran.
Okay. Do Social Security benefits expire, Elia? Do they run out?
For Social Security disability and for Social Security retirement, you mean? They don't run out. They shouldn't run out. You should, as long as you continue to meet the requirements as a disabled individual, they won't run out per se.
Okay.
And then as an individual who's filed for retirement, those benefits are yours until you're on this earth.
Okay. I'm sure you get asked a lot as well. Do I need my Social Security card, the actual paper card that I got when I was little?
You don't need your Social Security card. Most of us know our Social Security number by heart. We encourage that you safeguard your card. Keep that in a safe place with your important paperwork and documents at home. We do not recommend you carry your card with you at all times. The only time you would carry your card is if you needed it for your employer for some reason. But other than that, it should be safe kept in a place where you know where it is and where you can locate it. We don't, because of so many scams out there, Social Security, would prefer you not carry the card so it doesn't get lost, doesn't get into the wrong hands.
Yeah, we should maybe talk a little bit about what those scams are and what some of the red flags are if you feel you may have been a victim.
So if you feel that you're getting phone calls that states that if there's Social Security that we're calling you, the only reason Social Security would call is if you filed an application recently, and we may have some questions regarding that application, or if you have some type of business with us. You're already a beneficiary receiving benefits, and you're up for a review, or you've had an overpayment. We are never going to threaten you over the phone, and if you don't feel comfortable, you're able to hang up the phone, call the 800 number, verify that that is an employee and what business we have calling, and we would never directly ask for money over the phone. If there's been an overpayment, you're going to receive a letter in the mail before that phone call happens. So just be vigilant and aware that if something tells you this is not Social Security, please hang up the phone, call the 800 number, and verify the identity of that employee.
Okay. We have heard in the past about actual checks being stolen, Social Security checks being stolen. Are paper checks still even issued anymore?
Paper checks are issued to a small percentage of beneficiaries. We do ask that people set up for direct deposit at this time when they're filing for benefits now. There are certain criteria that you have to meet in order to have a paper check. Most people are direct deposited. The safeguard or the best way to save your identity through our website is to set up a myssa.gov account. That gives us specific criteria. It helps protect your identity, and then only you can change your direct deposit, your address, your phone number, and information like that, versus Unfortunately, if somebody has stolen your identity and they're calling over the phone and they're answering all the identity questions correctly, there have been people in the past who've had the direct deposit changed and it wasn't them. But we're very vigilant. We try to ask very hard questions. People assume that because we're Social Security, we know everything. We do not know everything. There are reasons we're asking the questions to identify the individual, to make sure we're speaking with the right claimant and we're not asking a stranger or a family member personal questions or giving out identifying information.
Yeah, that's so important, I think, to know and to follow up on if you do find yourself a victim, not to let it linger, right? To actually take action.
That's right. You should take action, and there are lots of fraud lines, and you can call our fraud line as well.
Can I go into the office and specifically have my card replaced or get a replacement card if I do need one?
You can. You can either file online for a replacement card, or you can go into the office with a valid ID and request a replacement Social Security card.
And is there a cost for that, Elia?
No, it's free of charge.
Okay. All right. The administration itself, Social Security Administration, how was it impacted by the pandemic, or was it, and did it affect benefits at all?
Like everyone else, the pandemic affected all of us. We went from working in an office to all virtually working from home. CDC had very strict guidelines. We needed to keep our staff and the public safe. Very few critical cases were able to go face-to-face into the office. They had to meet specific criteria. Most of our business was being done over the telephone. We've revamped our online services so that a lot more services can be done online for individuals. We've made it easier for them. But it's a pandemic, and it was unexpected, and it impacted everyone's lives. The employees themselves, our beneficiaries, and just the public.
Yeah. So how often do you recommend someone check their Social Security account if they have one?
It would be really good if you checked your Social Security account yearly. If you've set up an account and you're not a retiree yet, or you're not drawing on benefits, it's good to go in there and make sure that your earnings are being reported correctly by your employer, by the IRS when you file your taxes, and just to keep an eye on that everything looks okay. And if you are a beneficiary, it's just nice as a secure safety to go in there and look and make sure that your direct deposit looks good, your address doesn't need to be updated, your phone number. It's tough, but sometimes we forget, and when we sign up, we may use our home line, and then we get rid of our landline, and now we're on a cell phone. We want to just keep that information up to date, because that is a way that we will try to use to contact the beneficiary if need be.
Okay. And if I know you can check your earnings history as well if you notice something that's not correct. Is there a way to rectify that?
Yes, there is. So if you look at your earnings and something is incorrect or your earnings weren't posted for that year, you would want to contact your local office, and they'll let you know what evidence to bring down so that we can do an earnings correction for you.
Sure. I know there's been a lot of talk in Washington, Elia, about the health of Social Security, the future of Social Security. Do you get involved with those discussions at all, or you're just administrators?
We're just administrators.
Stay away from the politics of it.
Yes, sir.
Anything else we should let folks know about right now?
No. I would definitely say that going online and setting up your account is a good safeguard for your information and your identity. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you believe you've been fraudulently a victim, please contact us. Other than that, we're here to help you at any point, and if you have any questions, feel free to go online and to call us.
Okay, and we should check in with you again when, do you think, to get an update? Will there be any future changes coming in 2023?
No future changes that I know of yet, but things are always evolving and changing. So just keep out an eye for the news. You'll hear.
Okay, and please reach out to us if we can help get information out to the community. We're happy to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Elia. Good to talk with you.
It was nice talking with you, too.
Check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Not too bad out there. A lot of clouds, but it's pretty mild. Temperatures in the mid to upper 40s this afternoon. There may be a flurry believe it or not. Later tonight, temperatures will dip into the mid-30s. For tomorrow, just gorgeous, wall-to-wall sunshine, nice and mild, not a lot of wind, 50 degrees. Look at Wednesday, 56 with a mix of sun and clouds, and even warmer on Thursday. That could break some records with highs in the low 60s. Could come with a chance of some showers, though, on Thursday. Thanks again going out to Elia Souza for joining us from Social Security. Thank you to our crew. Thank you for watching. Friday here in the program, we will get an update from the Quincy Symphony Orchestra. Meantime, go to our website anytime, qatv.org. You'll find our latest programs there. There's news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.